So yeah, sourcing these chips is going to be really important. That's why we're developing this network between the forestry professionals and the water quality folks, and obviously keeping that source within Iowa. There's large-scale, logging and forest management projects going on across the state on state land in winter. As I drive and meet with folks across the state of Iowa, many producers own chunks of timber that just aren't managed. Again, they're passively managed. So a lot of times they have these shade-tolerant species building up in the understory, which is fine, but that could be a great source of local carbon media for the reactors.
So our lab experiments, we tested some of these shade-tolerant species of trees and looked at how they performed in comparison to each other, and then also in comparison to some mixed wood chips, and actually found that the hackberry was one of our best performing species. So then we need to think about how do we chip these, and can we use a variety of different chipping methods in order to be able to get trees from many different sources, or wood chips from many different sources. And so right now in the lab, we're in the process of testing different chip sizes. So different chippers or different types of grinders will produce different sizes of wood chips. They may look like, kind of the traditional wood chip that we typically think of for a wood chip bioreactor, but there's also chippers that are smaller in size, so they tend to produce smaller wood chips that don't yet meet the NRCS standard. There's also tub grinders that produce more of that shredded wood material that you can often get from a municipality for free to use in landscaping around your house. And so with these different sources of chippers and different types of wood, we're hoping that we can provide a more readily available wood source for the wood chip bioreactors.
Yeah, and once we finalize or get the answers on the chip sizes, that's going to be huge in selecting our species. As you can imagine, different wood species have different wood properties, and they chip up very differently. So if we need to match a certain chip size, some of these species need to be screened out, and that's an extra step in the processing that adds costs.
Yeah, in some of our screening experiments, we're losing 40 to 60% of the original material because those chips are too small, and so then we're not able to use those in the bioreactors. But some preliminary experiments that we've done in our labs and some other universities are showing that maybe the size of the wood chip is not as important. And so that's why we really want to explore what the impact of these smaller chip sizes is on nitrate removal, but also the hydraulic properties, as well as how water can flow through the bioreactor, and if the bioreactor has the same longevity, if it can still expect its lifespan to be between 10 and 15 years.
So with the chips, we've noticed that a lot of species chip up very differently, and there's been a lot of kind of requests for us to come grab people's very old dead ash trees. So that's probably not ideal because ash degrades, even when standing, the wood quality degrades and the properties change very quickly when standing in the wood. So we really like fresh trees to be ground up or chipped up and used for this process. You mentioned chemicals in there. So all these species are very different. They're heartwood. The center of the stem contains a mixture, a unique cocktail for each species of fats and tannins and resins, and that gives wood this unique durability, its unique color, its unique smell. So think about the beautiful color of black walnut heartwood or the smell of cedar. Those are those chemicals housed in the heartwood, and we're interested maybe in the future, well now, do those chemicals influence the performance and the durability of the chips? But in the future, there's a huge knowledge gap as far as those wood extractives. So.
Yeah, all those extractives are, slowly released with time, and they're going to have an impact on the microbial community. So how do the microorganisms respond to the presence of these different extractives? And do some of them actually stimulate the denitrifying community? We're really interested to learn more about that. And then, of course, by knowing what combinations of extractives from different wood sources, we can then choose the best wood chips for improving the performance of the wood chip bioreactors.
So these are the three species that we're focusing on in this project. We've got hackberry, ash, and hickory. This is shagbark hickory in this case. 3 great wood species, beautiful woods, but you notice that they're all light in color. I'll kind of zhuzh them up here. But this light color, unfortunately, is not really in these days for cabinetry and flooring and whatnot. I wish it was, but that's kind of what is leading to their lower market value right now, as opposed to, got this in my pocket, black walnut, which is coveted globally. I mean, we grow the best, highest quality walnut on planet Earth here in Iowa. You can just see the color differences, and that's really why these are a little bit, not a little bit, significantly lower in market value. So these are also very common in our woodlands. Ash obviously is on the decline, but hackberry, hickory, again, we talked about, they build up in the understory. So there's a decent supply out there. And if we add some value to them as far as bioreactors, hopefully we can encourage more farmers and more landowners to get involved in active forest management with a professional forester. So right now with the project, it's exciting on my end because harvest is going to start ramping up here in the fall and winter. We're working with a number of timber buyers, loggers, and professional foresters around the state to obtain the volume of logs that we need to process to fuel the number of these field scale bioreactors that we're going to be putting in for this effort.
Yeah, so we have a total of 26 bioreactors that we're working to get installed over the next couple of years. Different wood chip sizes. We're going to use small chips. We're going to use the shredded chip material. We'll also be using the standard chip sizes, but of some of these woods that Billy has been talking about, such as the hickory, the hackberry, the ash. And so really exciting time as we work through the design. We've been collaborating with different counties locally to try and assist with the design and securing the wood and then getting that installed in bioreactors in the area.
Iowa's got 3 million acres of woodlands. We've got water quality issues. We could really do a lot to enhance water quality in our forest, our precious forest resource in the state. And I'm really excited about connecting the ag and forestry communities for the benefit of both.